to Valley the Old Farm and going to finish up the alfalfa silage today and do some other random stuff. So there is this loading wagon in the sales, but I think it's a bit big for what we're doing. So we're going to lease something a bit smaller, I think. And yeah, the volume that we're actually going to do is pathetically small. So I really didn't even need to go as big as we're going to go. But, you know, this is just kind of a getting something started so that we can have some silage fermenting quickly to sort some of the feed out that we need for the animals as we've added in Maize Plus. And there's another job that we're going to do to kind of try and help with that today. I am recording this commentary in the hours before the teaser trailer releases for FS25, and it's kind of exciting. Obviously, maybe not obviously, some of you might have seen the leaked stuff, have kind of been working hard to ignore all of that because, you know, kind of, well, I think it might have been quite obvious if, you know, I'm not sure, what am I trying to say here? Basically, if you were a larger content creator, it would have been bad for you to make content based on leaked stuff. And anything leaked that was posted in Discord, I was kind of poised to remove because likewise, wouldn't have been great. So I'm just looking here to see if we had any silage additive. We didn't, so I'm going to buy some. Yeah, so I have no idea where that leak came from. I assume it must have been from the press, with how early it came out, because you know, as a Giants partner, a low-level Giants partner, I didn't get stuff that early officially. So it, you know, maybe if it went to the higher level Giants partners, there aren't that many of them, so they, you know, I doubt they would have risked leaking it that early. So it must have been through, you know, some sort of gaming media or something that they got it early, and someone in the media released it, and it's kind of spread. But anyway, it's been by the time this video is out, it's all been officially released, and yeah, it's kind of looking exciting. I suspect there are some unhappy people at this point, but not really going to talk about it too much in this because it's not what this video is about. We are making alfalfa silage today. So yeah, I had waffled on in the previous video originally, and then I changed the commentary because I spoke to Akimobile about how things work with Maize Plus as standard. Originally I was going to bail this, and as standard, Maize Plus doesn't support making alfalfa silage using bales. You have to do some work. So because I like to quite often reflect how things are delivered, you can make alfalfa silage in a standard bunker silo with Maize Plus. So that's what we're going to do, and that's why we're using a loading wagon. You will also see that it is making use of the silage additive. So yeah, as like I said, we could have released a much smaller loading wagon, but we might make use of this to do some grass silage in the clamp, maybe. I'm not sure. So I'm going to hang on to it for a little bit. I'm going to let the other alfalfa field grow out. I just wanted to get something in a clamp fermenting so that we are filling that gap in the potential feeding. But we are also going to fill that gap in the potential feeding, because this is really for feeding the sheep. The horses, you can see, are grazing that pasture now to some extent, which is good. We probably kind of need to let their food drop down so that grazing is taking over much more. Yeah, and you can see the cows are pretty, I think the cows have grazed the whole area they can graze, so it might be worth us going in with the mower and the loading wagon and doing some indirect grazing and clearing up the stuff that they're not grazing so that grows as well. maximize the use of the grass in that pasture, because we planted it, we might as well mow it. Kind of my thought. And yeah, having a loading wagon, we can do that. We can dump it in their feed trough and eventually delete it. So yeah, so 14,000 litres. It's not a huge amount, but I think, pretty sure we're getting this for the sheep because we don't have any whole crop silage. So alfalfa silage is a good option. And I check this. I'm not on the laptop where I have all of the save games active at the moment, but we can probably look in here. Yeah, we can. So let's have a quick look. I'm getting really bad at remembering all of the feeding. Yep, alfalfa silage is for the sheep. So let's get this put away. And then the next job that I actually want to do is, again, focused on the sheep. And actually we'll talk about it when I'm not sure if I'm going to, let's compact the silage first. I'm getting ahead of myself, which is something that I quite often do as I do the commentary separately. But hey, yeah, this is going to be a fairly easy job to compact. There's barely any here. It's a pretty small amount. Probably in the real world, this would be too small an amount to actually make into silage. I suspect you'd probably have to put it in a couple of bales to get it to ferment. I don't know. I'm not a real farmer. But yeah, it'll work in game. It'll give us a small amount, and with it being for the sheep, they don't actually eat that much food. So although it's their primary feed group, and actually it's only really got to last long enough that we can sort something else out, what we really need to do is be planting a bigger field of alfalfa. And what I need to do is work out all of our planting strategy, because we've got one more field to harvest. Dig, I guess, because it's sugar beets. But we need to get more alfalfa planted. Processing slurry at the BGA from last time. Still got to clear out the manure. We'll do that later on as well. As we're adding in Maize Plus, we'll be as we have added in Maize Plus, we'll be getting more manure and slurry now. We probably need to do a run over at the pig farm as well, bring that back over here. But what I was looking for is we have electric charge, so we can charge the tractor up, and then we can think about selling any excess electric charge, which would be good. I'm actually thinking that the cows are going to give us enough input to the BGA to keep our electric tractor running. Maybe we could have more than one electric tractor, although I only have, apart from base game ones, we only have this one. We could grab the methane powered T6 that I have. You'll see that the cows have grazed a huge amount of food, which is cool. The sheep not so much, and we'll have a look at why that is in a moment. In fact, now. So I did a little bit of a test with the sheep, and I painted in some meadow, and they're grazing that, but the rest of the pasture is that weird grass that was in front of the BGA where we've got alfalfa now, which doesn't seem to yield anything. And I think that's why the grazing is not being particularly effective, and it's the same with what was in the cow pasture. So my plan is, you will have seen from the thumbnail, we're going to do what we did for the cow pasture. We're going to plough in the sheep field, and we're going to plant it with real grass and see if that helps. I could just paint meadow in, but I don't want to do that. So we're going to fix this issue by planting some grass in there over the grass. It certainly seems to have helped with the cows. They are definitely grazing now, so we'll do the same with the sheep. The horses I did just paint meadow in because it's such a small area that we wouldn't have been able to plant it. I don't think we can bring our big mulching plough in, so we're going to lease a smaller plough to do the job. I actually had to go out and install a smaller plough. I didn't think a real plough is going to be a nightmare in such a small area. So we're going to get another slightly cheaty plough. I did think about using a subsoiler actually, but need to create field, so can't use subsoiler. But yeah, did a quick jump out. I was just looking actually to see it's not actually registered as a field, so we need to create the field. So yeah, we'll jump out. I found a nice little John Deere 3 meter squared off plough, which will make the job quite tolerable. To turn in the not grass that's in there, and then we can plant actual grass. And that will take care of the sheep for quite a while then in terms of their feed. So maybe we didn't need to rush the alfalfa silage, but we'll have some on hand. And yeah, I do want to, maybe we could swap one of the grass fields over to be alfalfa. Maybe plant one of the bigger grass fields with alfalfa, swap one of the small alfalfa fields to be grass, balance that out a bit. I'm not sure, but we definitely need to be growing more of it. So, but yeah, we're gonna plough this in. That's what I'm doing here. I was looking to see if they had any grazing buffer, but I'm not sure I've actually added that mod, which tells me what the grazing buffer is yet. That's a mod, but another Akenbill getting a mention again. One of his mods, which will tell you how much buffer there is with grazing. Oh yeah, but I do need to add that because it's really useful. But yeah, we're just going to plough this area in, plant grass. The sheep will graze properly because I don't think they are. I think they're just great. You can see where in the time where they fed, they've scalped this area and got feed. But I don't think they're grazing the rest of it. So we'll sort that out. We might have to let the rest of the food go down so that they get a more balanced feed profile. And just checking I had field stones turned off. No one likes field stones. Yeah. And that'll help out with feeding the sheep. That means 3 of our 5 types of animal are grazing, which through a big chunk of the year will be great. I think the sheep, if this pasture is big enough, which it might not be, we'll be able to graze for 2/3 of the year, which is cool. We could always make it a bit bigger. We could always take that fence out and extend it out into where we've got the alfalfa there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really want to get more animals, so maybe we sell some of them off and just keep it so that the pasture's big enough for how many it can support. That might be a more sensible option. Certainly the cows seem to be doing okay with grazing, so we'll keep with how many cows we've got. Yeah. That great grazing does certainly make it easier with having so many animals to lighten the old feeding load a little bit. That is so a little bit about FS25, I guess. The bit that I'm not looking forward to is that first, couple of months. Probably going to be a couple of months where we wait for, mods to appear. The bit I'm really not looking forward to is that first couple of months where we are flooded with dodgy converts done without permission, where, people will be posting half-assed converts of scripts from different websites. Someone will try and claim they've got cosplay and all that stuff, and that really bugged me at the start. People posting all that stuff. It's like just wait. The people that make those mods, I'm sure will convert them, and the place to get them initially will be their GitHub sites, not bestfs25mods.ru or whatever. That won't be the first place they're released. I can guarantee you that. All those sites are doing is trying to get to your clicks, and stuff you download from those places might not be the best things, you know. We saw with FS22 our first, you know, not really virus, but almost like FS malware, where there was that mod that had a script in it that deleted all your saves, you know. So maybe when you start playing FS25 and you start seeing all these mods come out on best FS25 mods, maybe be a bit cautious. Just think ahead, you know. Just think ahead. If you start seeing FS25 Maze Plus before me, Alien Paul, are using it, have said it exists, maybe that's not the place to download it from. Maybe that's going to get you a nice bit of a virus. Just think, just use your brain, you know. Anyway, that's that ploughed in. Let's put some lime on it before we put some seed in it. Yeah, not to be negative, but I think there is always that thing that there are those people that are impatient and they want all of the mods straight away, and there are those people that will take advantage of that. And, you know, use your brain, think. If you see something on bestfs25mods.com that seems too good to be true, maybe it is, you know. Maybe be a bit patient with some of that stuff, and I'm getting in there early, you know. There's going to be probably a whole raft of new PC players, and they're going to be wanting all those good mods. And, you know, if you see people asking about them and that kind of thing, just try and be that, you know, that voice of sensibleness. Don't be that person that's saying, yeah, go get those awesome mods from that dodgy website. But yeah, maybe I have different views on these kind of things. Anyway, let's apply some lime, and we can put some seed in. What I found really interesting with this, and I don't know whether I've noticed this before, but applying lime is completely obliterating the ploughed texture. So it's making the ground behind me completely flat, which is kind of weird. As I don't know if I've noticed this before or not. I didn't notice it until I came to do the seeding. But yeah, I don't know if that's a new, old thing or not, or if I've just not noticed it before. But it seemed kind of weird that applying lime removes the ploughness of the field. I mean, it's still been ploughed, obviously, but yeah. Very strange. Very strange. And technically, I probably didn't need to lime this because it's going to be grazed, so the yield doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really affect it. It's more one of those things where I spotted it on the cow field is now asking to be limed, and I might see if I can go do that while it's in a state where it's mown, harvested, whatever. Because it sometimes bugs me when I look at the map and it says that kind of thing. Sometimes I just turn the filters off so I can't see because, you know, ignorance is bliss and all that. Yep. So next job is to lease ourselves a seeder. We do need to start purchasing our field working kit on here now. As we're going to start to be having a bit more cash, hopefully. As, you know, the cows are producing milk, we've got the animal food additions in, that means we're going to be starting to make more money. Things should be getting better. We do have the forestry as well. I haven't forgotten that. We will be going to make use of that through the winter, I think. Probably one of the things I will be doing is setting the piglets free over there through the winter. They can rummage and root for food and kind of grow up a little bit free range and wild, and then we'll saddle them off again in the spring, maybe something like that. Yeah. But we're going to lease ourselves the cheapest, smallest seeder we can get, because it's a tiny, well, smallest seeder I have installed because it's a tiny area that we need to bother planting. And I'm going to grab the little Linda because it seems like the appropriate tractor for the job. We're going to put normal wheels on it rather than the narrows. Yeah. And get the grass seeded and rolled, because again, the needs rolling state bugs me. And otherwise I'll keep seeing it, and once the grass is in, you can't, and you know, like any other crop, once the crop's germinated, you can't get rid of it without ploughing it out again, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, I couldn't remember what tire options I had paid for, so we have standards, which is just perfect for this. So yeah, this will be a great little tractor for doing a job like this. Obviously very maneuverable with our 4-wheel steering, and it'll be great. Did I say great too many times then? Make tractors great. We do have some seed here, but I almost said too lazy, but too tired at this point to do this. I was playing this at the end of a 14-ish hour workday, and yeah, given that we've got a seed buy point, seed's not that expensive and we're not going to use that much, I just fill it up from the buy point. It was easier. Yeah, easy was good at this point. I'm just about ahead on farm sim videos, and I wanted to stay ahead, so with playing this towards the end of the day, having done a long work day, but and this was one of those videos where, again, I fired the game up. I had no clue what I was going to be doing, but this seemed like a good job as we kind of evolve the save into Maze Plus and getting grazing working properly. And I think next time we might have more grass work to get done. If not, we're going to be looking at doing field prep. We've got a nice load of digestate to get spread on the fields that need planting. And I did talk about that last time, you know, getting ourselves one of the slurry containers, essentially, so that we can do some of that slurry spreading at distance. We've got enough equipment that we can have one tractor doing the spreading and maybe one or two doing the carting from this farm to wherever we're spreading, so that'd be good. I mean, we could even use the little Linda to do the spreading with a smaller, either using pumps and hoses or a smaller tank to spread, and have the two bigger tractors doing the carting and actually shifting the bulk digestate across the map. Whatever works, I guess. Whatever works. Yeah, just basically throwing in bog standard grass seed. I left a bit around the tree, doesn't really matter. It was just kind of to make it easy to seed around. I should maybe left a bit more actually. But, yeah, I could have just painted in meadow, but I think grass looks better than meadow. Now, realistically, the meadow's not ever going to be that grown, assuming the sheep are grazing it all away. But it'll look better. It'll look better. So, and depending on where the grazing area is, it'll look better. So, yeah. And I do think that one of the jobs we'll do next time is cutting the areas of the cow pasture that aren't being grazed. We'll use the loading wagon and front mower and just go around and pick all of that up. Just chuck it in the cow shed for the cows to eat. And then it can regrow, and we can do the same thing, and we're just maximising the use of that bit of land. That's going to save the grass that we're silaging or making hay, so that can either go in the BGA or for feed through the winter. Yeah. And if we need to, we could chuck some of it in for the sheep as well while this is growing through. So that makes sense, actually. Yeah. So I might do that between videos. I was also wondering, I haven't looked if there's any baling contracts. I might knock some of those out as well. Bring in a bit more cash. I do wonder if we need more land on here. But I've yet to work out. So I need to do it on here and on Saxthorpe, just to work out what I'm planting where. Then on here, because we've got so many animals, we need quite a diverse range of crops, I think. We're going to need plenty of maize, potatoes, sugar beets, something to whole crop, maybe. Although if we do plenty of alfalfa, we won't need to whole crop, but we can do alfalfa silage for the sheep. Plenty of straw. So yeah, quite a bit of different things we're going to need to grow. So, and that's literally just to feed the animals. That's not even thinking about any crops to sell. We're getting through planting pretty quick. It's quite a manoeuvrable little tractor, which is nice. Great in this little enclosed space, which is why I went for this one rather than using the case or the McCormick. So the McCormick's bigger but less powerful than the case. You know, that little electric motor in the case is a pretty beastly little thing. Right, seeding done, seeder returned, rolling, and this thing is horrid, but it's cheap and it's small. So again, something that was 3-point mounted would have been better, but this did the job. So and again, I didn't necessarily need to roll it, certainly not for yield, but it was more about having it not show up on the map that it needed rolling, because that bugs me. That's why I was doing it. So, yeah. And I think this I installed to do the alfalfa field that's in front of us. So, yeah, we'll get this jobby done. And a few other bits and pieces that I want to do. You might have noticed this is a bit longer video than normal. Yeah, this is again one of those ones where, a bit like the Saxthorpe video last week, the video ends up being as long as it ends up being, as I do different things. So I'm been pondering playing a way I used to play, and I occasionally do it and then I forget and I slip out of the routine because I don't know why, where I used to just leave the game on ×5 pretty much constantly, and I would do stuff until it got too dark, and that helps maintain pace in a save. And I've stopped doing that in 22, and I occasionally talk about doing it again, and then I do it for a bit and I stop, and yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I quite like just taking my time and doing things as it comes, and sometimes I like pressing the save a bit faster, and I don't know. I do like making progress, but at the moment where I'm doing less videos on each save in the week, I'm making progress less quickly anyway. Yeah. And I'm finding it better mentally doing slightly less videos a week, which has got to be a good thing for me. So, you know, I'm aiming for like one video a week on each Let's Play that I do, which at the moment is 4 Let's Play videos if you're a patron, 3 if you're not, and then there's been a couple of bonus videos because of the major service mod that came out, and if other mods take my fancy, I'll do videos on those. And so yeah, and occasionally I do kind of start the week with the goal of maybe doing an extra Let's Play on one save a week, but it doesn't always work out like that. So particularly at the moment, things are so insanely busy. Yeah. but I think it's better. I'm not having to force myself to do things as much. Like I was saying, I played this quite late after a long day at work, but I was doing it because I wanted to, not because I had to, and that's a difference. I had got into a position where I was having to play the game to get things recorded, and I wasn't enjoying that. And that's just not good at all. No, I will now. Yeah, I now play the game when I want to, not, and it's more enjoyable, not because I have to, because I have to make a video. And that's much better. It's much better, I think. You know, I had got into that state, or you know, particularly the weekend it's like right now. Now I have to record 3 or 4 Let's Play videos over Saturday and Sunday, because otherwise I don't have enough to start for the week. And now at the weekend, if I don't, I don't. You know, it's much better for me, and that might sound selfish, but it's what it needs to be. So that field's sorted. Field pasture, I guess it's going to take a bit of time to grow in and actually be useful for grazing. But the next job I want to do is get the manure from the cow shed into the BGA. So the slurry's finished processing. We'll do the manure, then we'll sell the electric charge probably next time. Probably next time we'll get the slurry and manure from the pig pen moved as well. Get that processed. It's probably worth keeping on top of that now, particularly as I think we're getting to the point where we might have piglets soon, so that number's going to start jumping up. Although I do think that my plan is maybe to put the piglets loose in the forestry area, or put a pig pen in there, have those roaming free while they grow up, and then we'll bring them back and fatten them. Try and maximise our profitability of the pigs that way, rather than what I'm doing on the Maize Plus Pig Farmer. The other thing that I asked about last time was about the pig feed production, and about whether, so at the moment you put 2,000 litres in, you get 1,000 litres out, which to me feels a little bit wrong. Had suggestions of make it 2,000 or make it 1,500. So I'm thinking make it 1,750. And I did wonder about maybe having like the difference come out as digestate, so like waste essentially. But I think I might just make it 1,750, because having anything else come out means making bigger changes to the mod. But I sort of understand why it's a bit lower, because you're putting in chaff. Well, we're putting in unfermented maize silage, so maybe it's a bit different now we've got Maize Plus. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go 1,750. So not 100% efficient, but more efficient than 50%. And that'll really help us out with feeding the pigs. Yeah, this trailer, way better than the other one we had for putting manure in, which is cool. I don't know if I've still got the other trailer. I think I have. I think it might be up at the pig farm. Yeah, the other job we need to do, last job we need to do, is to put some straw in the cow pen, because they are out of straw. So we want them to be keeping bruised manure so that we can recharge our tractor and make money off of it. We need to sort some pig food out, but yeah, you can see they are completely out of straw. Actually, they've got loads of slurry again. We need to shift slurry again. Wow. Yeah, and we've got like 250,000 litres of digestate, so we could do with doing a whole load of digestate spreading next time. So I might actually do a double application so that we are really fertilising the fields with digestate. That seems like it might actually be a half sensible plan. Save us some money on fertiliser. And as I said, we've got enough kit that we should be able, if we lease some stuff, we should be able to set ourselves up to do that across most of the farm, I think. Yeah, and that'd be a fun job. It'd be a fun job to do with auto drive, obviously. Yeah, we need to go grab the bale fork now, and I'm going to put the tracks back on this. As much fun as these are. We did buy this because it was a tractor. And we're going to grab the weight as well, because moving bales is going to be a bit heavy, and actually this bucketful manure was just too heavy. The back end was picking up a little bit, so yeah. We'll get ourselves a bit more organised. And I want to put a whole load of straw in. But yeah, I enjoyed this, as I say, where I'm not making quite so many videos a week. I'm not having to force myself to play, which I was occasionally when I was trying to get out 7+. Well, actually, I think I was making at some points 8 farm sim videos a week or more. I was having to force myself to do them, and sometimes, and it wasn't fun. The number I'm doing now, I'm not having to force myself, and I'm enjoying it more. So, yeah. So let's get some straw, get the cows bedded down, and we'll call it a day. And I'm not sure if we're going to stay in August or if we're going to progress on to September for the next video. You'll know when I know. Well, after I know, but you'll know when we come back for the next video. I'll know before that, because I'll have played the game and recorded the video and stuff, because that's how it has to work, isn't it? Because I have to make the video before you can watch it. What am I saying? I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, because I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel, and you help make some of this stuff possible with some of the things in the background that happen, like some of the stuff that I buy so that I can make these videos more easily, particularly when I'm traveling, which I'm not at the moment. Yes, so thank you. If you've enjoyed the video, click the like button, and if you have any comments, questions or suggestions, stick them below, and I will see you next time for more farming on the Valley, the Old Farm.